Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hey, man.
Medium D speaks. Turn your mic down 20%. What do you got?
Well, hold on. I'm on my phone, so maybe if I turn off the speaker.
Never mind. Just fuck it. All right. What do you got?
So I'm the guy that is the Cuban from Miami.
Jeez, you got here real quick. All right. Well, what's up?
So how long have you been in Miami?
I don't know. Probably a year now.
Year? Okay. And you said you're moving to South Beach.
Yep.
Okay. So you know how like South Beach, Miami, they're like kind of different animals, right? They like almost feel like different countries.
Well, I mean, like Miami is like 20 different like communities and countries, right?
Well, yeah, but like nobody knows that. But you know, you live there, so. So I left Miami recently, like last year, because I feel like a lot of the culture, the history, the demographics, I don't mean like necessarily politically, but just in general, I feel like are being gentrified like crazy. I feel like there's not a lot of space that is for locals, save for like the transplants. And I feel like everything's sort of being destroyed. Everything's being made generic. Like every time I drive by Biscayne and the Wynwood Edgewater area, everything sort of looks the same now. I don't know. Do you have any like feelings or thoughts or opinions on sort of gentrification? Do you think it's progress? Do you think it's good? Or do you think like there's
I don't have strong
space that
feelings
there
on
should be for culture?
gentrification. Also, wait, what do you mean Wynwood looks like everything else? Wynwood's a pretty unique area, no?
So, no, like Edgewater, like right on the edge of like Biscayne. So right next to Wynwood is more what I'm talking about. You know, all those empty high rises that are being put up with like Panama paper money.
Sure, based high rises, but what about it?
Yeah, no, that's just like, do you think it's gentrification? What do you think it's a positive thing? Do you think this takes
I don't even know.
away
I don't know if
from
I think
the locals?
gentrification is bad. I don't know what people mean when they say gentrification. I'm not like super opposed to it.
Okay. So like, for example, there were a lot of Art Deco buildings that had a lot of history in that area. There's like some historic holdouts. Like, have you ever been to Enriqueta's? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a little Venezuelan shop that's like a tiny spot that's a holdout that's now surrounded by high rises, and it's like a historic spot. They've made it a landmark in the city and everything. So a lot of these Art Deco buildings get knocked down. A lot of the things that have been there since the beginning are sort of gone, and they get replaced with these high rises that are like $5,000 a month or more. And the people that have historically lived there sort of get pushed out. They end up in places like Homestead. I know personally people that have like been going to Miami-Dade, for example, and now they can't go because they're in Homestead. Shit like that. I don't know. You think that's not necessarily a bad thing?
Well, what's
like,
the alternative? Do you think that some places should just stay the same forever and never change or grow?
I think to an extent, yeah, sort of. There should maybe be a little bit of like, especially in a place like Miami where people go for the culture.
Do people go to Miami for the culture? Some do. A lot of people just come here to retire. A lot of people came here because of the COVID restrictions or lack thereof. Some people come here because there's like the weather and they want to live on the beach.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like a lot of the people that grew up there don't really go to the beach like as much. Kind of stay in the city. It's more so the transplants that go. I don't know. Do you know a lot of like people that are from there, or is your circle more like transplants?
All the people that I knew were like Cuban people because that's where my family is, and they all live in fucking like Hialeah and shit. Those motherfuckers aren't going to the beach.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, that's where I was born. I'm from Coral Gables. But.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I don't know what you want me to say about that. Like, I mean, like areas change. Areas change over time. Like, I think areas changing is fine. We need to build more housing here, but like, I don't think I'm in favor of saying this place is not allowed to grow or change ever anymore, and we just need to like urban sprawl forever. Like, we just need to add more housing, and people are reluctant to do that.
Do you know that after was it the Panama Papers, or what was the really big one that was like trillions of dollars of money laundering that sort of fucked Brazil? And everybody saw like, oh, Brazil is like taking from the government coffers, and now we don't really talk about BRIC anymore. Do you know what I'm talking about? Was it the Panama Papers?
I remember the Panama Papers,
like
but I don't remember specifically like what the claims were. But I mean, if that's what it said, I'll believe you. But what about it?
So essentially, like, I was living in Edgewater at the time. I lived in like one of those last Art Deco buildings. It was like $1,100 a month, which is fucking great. It's still there. for $1,100 a month, which is crazy, right on the water. And they had knocked down everything else. But then, and the thing was, it was being financed by like Argentinians and Brazilians. Panama Papers come out, everything stops because they realize, oh, this money is being stolen from governments, this money is laundered. And to this day, there's still these empty ass lots right there on the water that kind of got fucked. So there's a lot, and a lot of these buildings are empty. I don't know. It doesn't matter that much. Can I switch to something else?
Go for it.
So I have a good friend that I cannot convince that Fuentes and Kanye and all this shit is like legitimately scary. He thinks, oh no, this is gonna pass. This would never, like my mother would never see this. Average people don't know who these people are. Average people are never gonna be swayed in this direction. Is there a way to sort of like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people look at the Fuentes Kanye thing and they think of it more as like drama more than as like, oh, this is like concerning political philosophy that's accelerating really, really quick.
I think it'll pass because I think people are a little bit exhausted from all the insanity from Trump. So I think it'll pass. I don't think it'll gain as much widespread support as they think it will, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I guess we'll see. But
I mean, dude, he was on InfoWars today.
Do what?
He was on InfoWars like today with what, 20 million viewers?
No shot. Do they have 20 million live viewers?
Isn't that what he said? That's what he said.
Yeah, but
I was watching you watch it.
Yeah, I know, but Alex Jones.
Oh, you're just talking shit.
But I mean, I'm sure they had a lot of viewers. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of eyes on the media. But I think that I don't think they look good to most people. But I mean, all we can do is like wait and see what happens, right?
I guess. Are you gonna debate the guy on No Jumper, or is he like just fucked?
Who, Fuentes?
Yeah.
I don't know if Fuentes wants to debate me right now. I think he's probably going to try to ride on Ye's coattails until he self-destructs, and then we'll see afterwards if he's interested in anything or if I'm interested in anything, because he kind of stood me up. So I don't know. We'll see. But I have no idea now.
How does this guy get like? Okay. I heard you once say something that I have forgotten, and I don't remember what the video is. You explained that when he was like on No Jumper, he like danced around the most horrible allegations. Wait, hold on.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. Remember your question. Hold on. I just had to shout at some fucking moron in chat that I ban all the fucking time because he consistently says moronic shit. Destiny, he kind of gave you back the same energy you gave him over the Mr. Girl stuff. The Mr. Girl stuff was a very clear, like, bro, I can't fuck with you if people on your platform are mass reporting people around me. I think that my position was incredibly fucking reasonable there. Because why the fuck would I hang around a community that's spam reporting people that they don't fucking like? That's insane. That whole arc was so crazy, even people like Andrew Englund said that I was in the right there. And they said that the whole arc with Fuentes and Ralph and like the mass reporting shit is cringe as fuck and you shouldn't do it. So fuck you. No, you're absolutely fucking wrong on that. Sorry, okay, go ahead.
No. I heard you explain one time the way that Fuentes gets around, like, for example, on No Jumper, the, like, most horrible allegations that people have against him and the way that they sort of demonize him. And I cannot fucking remember how you explained it, but that, like, he comes out looking better because he's not this horrible Nazi that they describe him as.
Oh yeah, you can't overplay. You can't overplay your hand in terms of what you're saying the other person is. Otherwise, when you see what the other person is, you're gonna look bad.
Okay, and so that's essentially what he does. Is like they think, oh, he's the worst.
Yeah, you just have to be careful with how you present him, because if you come in guns blazing, screaming he's a Nazi, and then somebody else like gets in a debate with him, and he's like, oh no, I'm not, like, I don't believe in this or that or that. Well, now he looks way better because in a way you've demonized him so much that he's going to come across as nowhere near as bad as you originally said.
Huh. That makes perfect sense. Holy shit. Do you think there's like room right now? This is like what's my concern, that like my friend that I talked to about this shit is like, no, that's not going to happen. And he sort of said what you said, that it'll probably blow over because people are exhausted. But I'm more in the camp of like, ooh, this could go really fucking bad. Like, you know those early Jordan Peterson classes that he did on explaining like the evil of humanity and how Nazi Germany happened? You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't watch it, but I can imagine what he said, yeah.
Well, it explains it really, really well. What's funny enough, I think that happened to Peterson. I think he got radicalized, which is super fucking funny, ironic. But like, I see that being the thing that happens. You know, like a very subtle. It's very, very easy for people to fall into these ways of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, do you think it's possible that, like, even though Ye is talking ridiculous anti-Semitic rhetoric, and now he's with Fuentes, like, okay, we see Alex Jones taking him onto his platform, and like everything he says, he has to be like, well, I don't agree with that. Oh, I don't agree with that, because he's got to dodge him saying he loves Hitler and all this ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
Did you notice that, right?
Yeah, that fucking Alex Jones was trying to get him to walk back from the edge. It was like when I was talking to John Trott and I was trying to ask him questions like, well, hold on. You don't mean they, like, if they were all, like, culturally American, you'd be cool with Mexicans being here. And then John Trott would just keep saying crazier and crazier shit. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. So, but I feel like Jones didn't get him on there because he's talking about Jews. I mean, like, to an extent, right? Like, globalist, whatever he says. I don't really know that Alex Jones that well. But my worry, what I was saying is, like, dude, Kanye's getting canceled. We have Elon coming out talking about all the canceling shit. We have this huge, with capital behind it, movement of people super done with canceling. I feel like canceling is sort of dying. I feel like anti-canceling is, like, becoming cringe in how...
Yeah, we're seeing the pendulum swing.
mass
This is what we've been talking about for a long time. The pendulum swing is happening, yeah.
Yeah, but my worry is, like, people like the, not Joe Rogan himself, but, like, the comedians that say, like, oh, you can't talk about anything anymore. You can't joke about anything. Comedy's legal, blah, blah, blah. Elon literally said comedy's legal again. My worry is those people that are just, like, anti-canceling, that are the people that are going to be like, we got to platform Louis C.K., that got Me Too'd, and all these other people that get canceled for no reason, are going to be like, oh, well, Kanye got deplatformed or canceled, so let's platform him, and then he ends up in this sort of now mainstream pendulum swung sort of area with these super dangerous ideas, and they osmosis onto everybody else. Do you think that's, like, a danger, like, that he could get into that sort of Joe Rogan manosphere, not manosphere in the sense.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think even people like Joe Rogan, I think Joe Rogan in particular is being a little bit more careful with people now because of how crazy everything's gotten.
Did you see him on with Matt Walsh? He fucking did really good against that guy.
Yeah, I think he's being a little bit more pushy with his platform now. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, what do you think are the dangers with this that could happen in the short term and in the next 2 years? Like, how does this affect the Republicans? How does this affect Trump? Like, I'm really interested in this, and I'm watching it unfold, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Wait, repeat that last thing again?
That I'm watching it unfold, but I don't feel educated enough. Like, dude, I feel like watching you and listening to you makes me, like, think about things in a way that I never have before, and causes me to sort of create these opinions on things that maybe might differ from yours or be the same as yours. But I feel like I rationalize things in my day-to-day life in general in a better way because of the way that you talk. But so I'm watching this unfold, but I don't really feel like I know what's going to happen. I feel like you're a really educated person.
I mean, I'm pretty educated, but like my biggest strength, I know the limits to my knowledge. Like, I'm not going to be able to predict like how this is all going to turn out. Like, who the fuck? Like, nobody knows how this is going to turn out right now.
You think? So Trump had to walk back on Fuentes, right? He had to be like, I didn't even know who the guy was, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, because he probably legitimately didn't. He probably didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
I think he wanted to have that dinner with Ye, and it sounds like Ye showed up with a crew, and Trump probably just saw all of them. He's like, oh yeah, because Trump's probably a friendly guy. He's like, yeah, bring them all in, yeah. And then they came in, and then later on he found out what was going on, and he was like, oh well, fuck this.
Oh fuck. You don't think this could like turn into like a major political point? This sort of like just maybe not necessarily the anti-Semitism specifically, but sort of the rhetoric, the overall rhetoric of Fuentes and now apparently Ye. Do you think this could become a major point within the Republican Party?
I can't even predict. You can go find other people that'll try to. I wouldn't even try. I have no fucking idea. The Republican Party is literally fucking off the rails. Even the Republican Party knows the Republican Party is off the rails. Nobody has any fucking idea what direction they're headed in right now. The Republican leadership is trying to guess, but it sounds like they're trying to cut off Trump. But I don't know. I don't know what realistically is going to happen. I don't know if anybody knows what's going to happen.
Okay. I mean, that's like the best answer you could have given, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't even pretend to be able to predict that.
Yeah, it's bad. It's fucking scary. Okay. And do you speak Spanish?
Very, 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 very little.
Damn. Well, because you grew up in Middle America, right?
True, yeah.
Yeah. My sister's like 10 years younger than me, doesn't speak a word of Spanish. It's fucking crazy.
Damn.
And we all speak fluent Spanish. I don't understand it. Okay. So, yeah, I always wanted to know because I know you're half Cuban. Why? I mean, now it's different. But when people on Twitter call me, okay, do you know about the people on Twitter that say to Cubans in Miami, your grandfather had slaves? What the fuck is up with that? Why are they saying that? That's insane. Do you know?
Yeah, we deal with a few of those on stream. Yeah.
Where do they even get that idea? That's insane. Like it's slaves.
The
in like
idea is that if
1950?
you're in the United States and you're not like a communist and you're from Cuba, they call you gusano. What they basically say is you probably had slaves and you were opposed to Castro's revolution or something, just dumb shit like that. But it's all like a bunch of white kids that say it. Like, I don't know. It's just internet socialists being cringe.
Yeah. And then one last thing, and then I'll go. By the way, thank you for having me on. I'm a genuine, like, huge ass fan right now.
No problem.
Do you know about the way that, okay, your Cuban family, they watch, I would imagine, media in Spanish, right?
No. My mom, I feel like some Cubans that came over, or there are some immigrants that come over that want to be very, 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 very American.
Super.
So they, yeah, my mom was like that. Like she didn't teach us Spanish or anything. When I would go in the summers with my grandma. We're in Hialeah, and I would chill with her, and she would watch all Spanish shows. So like some of the old fucking soap operas, Carita de Ángel or whatever, like just random fucking shit. I remember watching on her TV, but I couldn't understand it. I didn't know what it meant. But all of my immediate family all consume all their media in English, American. They're very, very, very American. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. My dad's like that. He's like super Americanized. Well, okay, but my grandmother, my stepfather, like all these other people only speak Spanish still. Dude, the way that political, what's the word I want? Propaganda is done in Spanish. Like when I talk to my only Spanish speaking relatives that are intelligent and politically active, the things they believe are like they don't know about the transing the kids. They're not talking about that in Spanish. All they say is like, oh, they just keep calling Biden a socialist and saying that they want to impose socialism, and like they literally don't know about the transing the kids shit. So a lot of people, I think that like the red wave that just happened in Miami, people are going, oh well, of course, well the Cubans are super conservative, and now you have all this stuff that's super progressive, and that's going to terrify them away. But like, dude, the Spanish speaking people literally don't even like that's not brought up. They're still just pandering to fear of socialism. Did you know that like the propaganda is totally different?
Well, yeah, of course. When you've got people coming from fucking, because if you're a Cuban in the United States, all you hear are horrible fucking things about Castro and living in fucking Cuba. And if you still have family there, they're living like the worst, poorest fucking life ever.
Well, do you know what it's like now?
Do I know what it's like now? I think that they do okay, but I'm pretty sure their tech is really old. I think their cell phone shit is like pretty fucked. A lot of people work like
they're on 5 hours of electricity a day, bro.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, did you hear about the I'm sorry, go on. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just like white kids in the United States will just point to the fact that like 96% of them are doctors and like 100% of them are literate, and they think Cuba is some fucking like paradise for brown people. But the reality is that every brown person that comes north to the United States probably fucking hates socialism. People coming from Venezuela, people coming from Cuba, like if you tell them that you want to like do socialism, they're gonna look at you like you're fucking insane. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean like it's all white kids who are talking about it in the US. Like what are you gonna do?
I mean, yeah, I kind of do want to know what to do because, like, you were, well, now you can't do shit. But, like, a year ago, you reported him for calling you Gusano. And, like, they're like, no, that's nothing. It's not against the terms of service. It's like, goddamn. No, dude, Cuba's super bad. Did you hear about the tankers that exploded?
Nope.
Oh, fuck. Oh, dude, it's really bad. Oh, fuck. They had, they're on the last of their credit with the world. They have no credit. They have their monetary policy collapsed. They tried to implement a second currency that they tried to peg to the dollar, to only use in the tourist areas. So you go to like the tourist areas of Havana, Maradero, where the resorts are, and you would use this $1 currency. And the idea was so that the wealth doesn't trickle out to the rest of Cuba, because they want to control monetary policy. It failed within, I think, 3 years. It's called El Chavito.
Okay.
So that collapsed. Now
this happened I think like a year ago, right? Or a little bit longer than that, maybe? Yeah, okay. I remember reading about, because Cuba was running into, so at this time, Cuba was running into a lot of economic problems, and people in the United States were like, oh my God, it's the blockade, it's the blockade, it's the blockade.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, because that had been a thing for a long time. But it was because
it was literally there because it was starting to be lifted. This currency.
Yeah, there was they did something where they decoupled or they recoupled, but I understand what you're talking about. It had to do with their the way that their currencies was related to the USD changed dramatically, and that was one of the reasons why their economy was having so many problems. But everybody just blamed it on the United States. Yeah, but I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
Well, they used it because of all the tourists that were coming in. They pegged it to the dollar. They still had the peso. But like if you let's say you go, because like, they hitchhike there, it's normal. So let's say you hitchhike in the morning out to Havana from Artemisa, which is like 2 hours, and you come home and you have your chavitos. You can't use them in the store, where I mean, there's nothing in the store anyway, but like that's a real thing, by the way. You go to the store there's like a fuck ton of crackers and shit, but there's no meat. The fridges are empty. It's real.
Like this, yeah.
This is not propaganda. I've been there.
Yeah, or like you've got like, because of the way that like their markets and shit are set up, or the wages are set up, you've got like doctors will work as like cabbies and shit, and they make like 10 times as much money doing cab fares as they would doing like being doctors and shit. That they're like their shadow market, their shadow economy is like really crazy in Cuba. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, that's like what Vox said in that video. They got really, really famous. But like literally everybody in Cuba to survive. I think. Okay, is it unreasonable for me to come to the conclusion from seeing Cuba, where everybody has to have a side hustle? Everybody okay, let's say there's a tree with fruit in your yard. That fruit's not yours. You can't take it. You can't sell it, but you still do. You get like a blender sent from America. You make little juices and you sell them for pesos on your front yard. That's like a little shadow business. Or you cut people's hair. Or like the biggest thing is the mules that, and I don't mean drug mules, like mules that send from America 40 to 80 pounds of stuff. Now that you're in Miami, do you see those places on like every block that it's PAQBA, Cuba?
Oh, no, I don't.
Or do you ever see the signs that say Envios a Cuba? Or Envios, ENVIOS?
Nope. But I like hang out. Like I live in Little Havana, and then I go east to Brickell or South Beach. These are like the only places I go to. So yeah.
Oh, you're in the okay. Well, Little Havana's like blown up huge.
Kind of.
Sorry, I'm not trying to dox you.
No, you're good. Dox away. My dox is all posted online anyway, so fuck me. My parents live in Homestead too, so it's funny you brought that place up. The boonies.
Well, Homestead has blown up too, but like we have all the people from over. I'm 7 years clean. But I used to buy heroin in Overtown. Jesus. And like now, like that's where you get your haircut. You can't find heroin there anymore. Because all those people are in Homestead now. They got bought up, but whatever. So in Cuba, they have all this shit. The currency collapsed, and they have no global credit right now. So they have very little people that'll give them petroleum, because they can't access their own offshore reserves. They don't have the infrastructure for it. Even though there are offshore reserves that, like, in a capitalist system, they would be able to get. But, so they had in Cienfuegos, which is a port city, 12 big tankers. One catches on fire. They send in firemen. It explodes. 77 people get hurt. A bunch of firemen die. And then they're like, oh, fuck, we can't put it out. So the next one catches, and the next one catches, and the next one catches, and the next one catches. There were already rolling blackouts. So the hurricane, when it passed, you remember the big hurricane that came through Central Florida?
Yeah.
Very recently.
Yeah. It didn't. Yeah, it went through. It missed Miami completely, but yeah, I know. Yeah. This is like a month ago.
Miss. Yeah. Well, it hit Cuba dead on. And the next day, there were a bunch of articles by these fucking socialist people saying, oh, look how good. Because all the articles said, oh, Cuba fixes their power system after hurricane damage in just a day. which is bullshit because there was already, my grandma has been there all year. She spent 6 months or 8 months out of this year in Cuba. There were blackouts every day, rolling blackouts. You get 5 hours of electricity a day. And even when the electricity comes back on, there's these big power surges. So they can't even like use the electricity at all. They really can't. Like they got the water's not clean when the electricity's not on. Everything's fucked. So now they have no petroleum. They don't really have anyone that's willing to trade with them. They have no global credit. Their currency is collapsed. Like their secondary currency. They're allowing people to use the US dollar again. Like not on paper legally, but like, yeah.
Effectively, everyone knows, yeah.
Yeah, which has always been a global sort of reserve currency. And like even in Cuba back in the day.
I've heard of places like even in Vietnam and shit, I think there are people that will still buy and sell shit sometimes in USD. I think there are some touristy places, I think in Europe, even that will take USD, even like in the Eurozone, I think. But in real addresses, but I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But
I've lived in Europe. I didn't see that. But like Costa Rica and Ecuador, the US dollar is an official currency.
I think in Cancun, I think I could pay in USD.
I believe. Yeah, for sure in Cancun. So anyway, everything's super fucked in Cuba. The only thing I can see is like, oh, this is literally the worst it's ever been. So there's going to have to be a sort of USSR style collapse because like they can't even pay the police officers, right? And that's sort of the last, like that's what my grandparents say. Oh, they pay the police officers better, so they'll always enforce it, but like they can't even do that right now. So I think pretty soon we're going to see Cuba, the regime collapse, not in a violent war, but in a sort of like, we give up on this because they're fucked. But okay, is it unreasonable of me to think that based on looking at Cuba, that the base state of humanity is sort of capitalism or trade, which I guess you could call capitalism, but not in the exact same way, since everybody there naturally hustles, even though literally if you get caught, you get sent to prison, no trial. Like, is that not proof that man is naturally more capitalistic than communalist?
I don't know if that. I don't like saying naturally more one or the other. I'm not sure. I mean, I think capitalism works because market forces are real, and I think it works for a whole bunch of scientific reasons, not for like human nature reasons. That's what I would say.
Well, everybody hustles. My uncle.
I think the big this is to not get like boring into like econ hardcore.
I don't think it's boring at all.
Okay, I think capitalism works really effectively because market forces are very quick to adapt to new conditions, and central bodies are very, very slow and cumbersome to adapt to new conditions. So like when shit is getting like really fucked in a planned economy, it's so fucking hard for the government to account for that and to shift and reallocate resources efficiently and effectively. Whereas in free markets, it's so easy for capital to flow from one area to another area if there's a change in supply or demand. I think that's why capitalist economies have so much more tenacity compared to socialist economies or communist or planned economies, I should say. The more planning, the harder the calculation problem, essentially.
Because you can't stop market forces.
Yeah, and just because it's really hard. There's just a lot of shit to like keep tabs on when shit is getting fucked. I think, I need to quote, hold on.
Go ahead.
Can I find it? I feel like there was a study that came out recently. This is in 2003. Fuck. Who just joined?
People can just join.
Tabor. No, only people with things.
No, yeah, I know.
Oh, wait, it was this. Wait, was this really a 10-year-old thing when I saw this? Damn. Hold on. There's an argument that was made that famines have never happened in a democratic area, that famines are largely a result of a failure of planning, and that when you have or authoritarian, illiberal governments that suppress the media. But as long as you have the ability to have people reporting on things and have like companies able to respond to problems, that you typically don't have famines. So famines are like problems with planning. And I think the study, when they looked at like all of the famines that happened across the world, and basically like 95% of every famine just happened in a place that had a illiberal style of government. Fuck, I wish I could find this original study. It'd be nice to have this, but.
Huh. But that doesn't count like what we talk about now in the West of like food deserts and shit like that, because that's literally not famine. That's just like
food. I think food deserts are largely a myth. I don't think that's true.
No?
No.
So like when you lived in Nebraska, there was nothing like that?
Firstly, a lot of people don't even know what food desert means. A lot of people think food desert is like lack of access to food, but it's actually lack of access to healthy food.
Healthy food.
Yeah, but also, I don't think food deserts are real because like I think what happens is when you stick a grocery store with a bunch of like vegetables and shit in areas. There's another paper on this. I should be saving these. But when you stick a bunch of like vegetables and shit in areas with like a bunch of poor people, they just don't buy it because they don't eat that kind of food. They don't care. They eat fast food.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is an R1
So you
page.
think it's more? Oh shit! Yo, wait, that's a based ass take. Hold on.
What? Well, it's not base. It's kind of sad because when you're poor, your education around food is like really
No.
shitty.
No, not that part is based, but it's based as fuck to realize that it might just be market conditions that are creating what we might call food deserts, and it's more of a economic like necessity rather than lack of availability. Because like,
Yeah.
dude, we have fucking transport. There's no reason that anywhere in America you shouldn't be able to get.
Yeah,
something
and that might
like
be
it.
my privilege, like speaking, maybe, but I've been in a lot of different parts of the country. Maybe not like, I haven't been in like the most fucked projects, but like usually you're in an area that has like a fucking Walmart with fruit or something. I can't, I'm sure there must be some areas of the U.S. that are like really fucked in terms of availability to healthy food. But I want to say that the lack of vegetables and fresh fruit available in those areas are usually market forces responding to demand. That like people just aren't buying them in those areas, so people just eat like
No, yeah, that's a super fucking base take. Like,
Well,
shit.
it's not base. It's kind of sad.
It's not
All
based
right,
that people
this
eat bad.
talk is approaching 30 minutes.
What's wrong
this
with
isn't
Fuck, I
fair to
didn't
the
realize. I'm
chatters.
sorry.
Wow.
Final thoughts?
You going to Georgia tomorrow?
No, I have a job.
No, Destiny.
Yeah, I am. Damn. I just got
Is it full?
It's pretty full. Why? Do you live in Georgia? Or do you live in Miami?
I
Oh, you
live in Florida. Yeah,
Florida.
I'm free. I would be down to go.
Well, if
there's
you didn't sign up,
availability.
it's too late. So, but no, it's fucking full.
all right.
Okay, we have like 300 fucking people going.
Jeez. Okay, all right.
Destiny, in general, prices of, let's say, veggies on those places are expensive. What's your market analysis on that? I just don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't think that there are
Probably
places in the
expensive
United
because
States.
There's not enough demand.
Yeah, I don't even believe that. I don't think there are places where you go to buy raw vegetables and like fucking like heads of lettuce are like $20 each or some shit. I just don't believe that. I think fast food is always going to be, not almost, I'm sorry. Fast food is always going to be more expensive than buying produce and shit at a grocery store. I don't believe you. But
All right. Go to Cuba. See it for yourself. But like, don't just go to a resort. Like, see the shitty parts.
I'll think about it, okay?
That's it. All right. Nice talking to you.
bye.